Hi, everyone. This is Robin McAuley, and you are listening to Brutally Delicious with Bruce Moore. And yeah, come out and see me on the Soulbound tour in the UK. If you missed that, come out and watch me with Michael Schenker. And I hope you have a great week. Thank you all for listening. And whatever you do, be brutally delicious.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
All right. I love this brutally delicious. I think it's what a great name.
Why, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you.
We can start here. New record came out on the 28th, so just about a month ago.
Right.
What's been the response to it so far?
So far everybody is loving it. They like the harder, more edgier sort of approach. That seems to be the overall consensus. It was intentional, obviously.
That was actually one of my questions. I didn't know if it was an intentional thing.
Yeah, it was. We did Standing on the Edge, then we moved on to the second record, Alive, which took it up another notch. And on this record, I have a new producer, the new in-house guy at Frontiers, Aldo Lenobile. Aldo is awesome. He brought the fire on this one. He introduced some new players. Great, great, great drummer with Alfonso Mosserino out of Milan. I call him like the Italian Simon Phillips. He's really good.
Yeah.
He's really good. Also brought additional guitars from Alessandro Mamola, keys from Antonio Agata, and I retained my guy, as I call him, Andrea Cerveso, he's kind of created my solo guitar sound, and I love the kid. I love his melodies. I just love his tone. So I didn't want to lose him, and I get to play with all of these guys in about 3 weeks' time at the Frontiers Rock Festival in Milan. So that's going to be pretty cool, and we've already lined up a bunch of additional shows because, you get in, you rehearse, and you go,
Play some shows, right?
make a meal out of this. So we're pretty excited about it. Yeah, there you have it.
Were you ever worried? I know you said your music has progressively been getting, harder as you go, or a little more aggressive, but were you ever worried that your fans wouldn't take the journey with you?
That's a great question. Let me digress a hair. So I just came off the Monsters of Rock cruise with Michael Schenker
Yeah.
two weeks ago, maybe almost 3 weeks ago now. And from the time that I set foot on the cruise, people are going, "We're going to hear Anytime, right? We're going to hear When I'm Gone, right? We're going to hear all the ballads, right?" And you kind of get it in the neck when they don't. Um, because how do I put this right? When you get sort of tagged with always having a power ballad, always having that sort of approach to the writing, and then suddenly you don't. There's
Right.
been a couple of comments that said, "What? No power ballad? What? No power ballad?"
Right.
And I like to not always wear the same suit of clothes, no pun intended.
Well, I agree.
And I like to go, you know what? I kind of want to wear that hat for a little bit. Um, Music is, I tell everybody, if there's so much music, Bruce, so much music. And if you just pigeonhole yourself and you only listen to this because you think somebody is going to say something to the detriment, um, you're really you're messing up your day because there's so much music. You should listen to it all because there's
Everything.
so much
Yeah.
great creativity. There's so many great artists. What a shame if you just only go down one rabbit hole and that's all you know. So I'm not like that. I have a very, very wide sort of gamut of the stuff that I listen to.
Right.
And I have friends who go, "Dude, you listen to that?" And I'm going, "Yeah, and so should you, you know?"
Right. This is what you're
Yeah,
missing.
It's not like I'm making any major strides in on Soulbound. It's still the melodies. I love melody. I don't know how to write without a melody. I just don't. And I like guitar players who while they can blaze a trail, they also have a lot of melody, in how they conclude their solos. And
Right.
that's where I like to go with the writing. And so that's what we did on Soulbound. I'm pretty happy with it. Love the new production. Um, and maybe we'll do more of that,
Excellent.
and
So,
not to digress further, but you didn't ask the question, but there's a third Black Swan in the can ready for mixing. And and that kicks some ass, just let me tell you. Yeah.
all right. So I want to digress from your digression, if you don't mind, if we're just
Ah,
going to
that's great. A
if we're going to
digression.
digress for a bit. You mentioned creativity, and I can't help but think, and thought this for quite a while. I think we've seen so much like a renaissance of creativity since the pandemic, right? Because so many people were locked up honing their craft and learning really how to do the shit because they had to. And
Yeah.
then they're released on it's like the Italian Renaissance of, and not just music, like every art form. I think you're, especially now 3 years out, you're seeing this like fantastic creativity explode.
I think that's well pointed out, because in the last 4 years I will effectively have recorded 6 records just on Frontiers alone. Three Black
Right.
Swan now, three solo records. I can't. I don't know if I was ever that busy.
Right. And some of the bands that I listen to, I shoot, I just lost my train of thought. I digressed too far. Oh yeah,
That's I'll
some of the
reel
bands
I'll reel you back in.
I got you. So some of the bands I listen to, like, I think their stuff post pandemic is the best they've ever done.
Yeah.
I connect with a different. I mean, maybe it's because of where we were and we all had that global. I don't know, but I think you're seeing so much more creativity.
Well, we you couldn't get out of the house.
Right.
Um, I learned to now create my own demos at home as opposed to having to go to a studio. So I can be a lot more productive because I don't have to leave the house. Now I can do all my writing and all my demos here.
Right.
And when the time allowed, I was able to. I have a studio I go to locally, and that's where I finished the product, as it were.
Right.
And that's worked out really, really good for me. And I know a lot of other people who did the same. I mean, if you
Yeah.
remember throughout the pandemic, people were making all these home videos, home recordings, and were posting them and going, look what I'm doing in my spare time.
Yeah. Right.
It wasn't just your spare time, you had no choice.
Right.
Um, and so it allowed you to sort of hunker down, um, and 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 dig a little deeper and going, okay, here's the time. Now what am I going to do with it? And hopefully, in my case, I feel it was very productive.
Right.
Um, and Yeah, we learned a lot. We came out of the back end of it. We never thought it would happen because we went, yeah, nobody's going to stop the world from turning. Well,
Right.
they did. And we're not the same since. We're
I,
definitely
nobody's
not
the
the
same. How
same.
did that change your lyrics and your themes and
Oh,
influence
oh,
everything? Right.
a lot. I mean, it did. You started thinking about stuff because life suddenly became a different a different place to exist in. And I think we went, wow, we're just this could end tomorrow, and that sort of doomsday realization of shit, where's this going? How can this
Right.
be happening? So I love to read. And I tell everybody, I love old Hollywood horror movies, vampire movies, Frankenstein.
Like the 40s.
I just love all of that sort of stuff. So I delve into that sort of area with my lyrics a lot. And, some of my friends just laugh at it and they're going, oh, here he goes. Um, but you can go down a dare I say it, when you go that direction, you can also go a sort of a spiritual
Right.
path, because that's what it kind of does to your mind when you find yourself in these situations. And we say so so fluently sometimes. Oh, God help me, you know, or
Right.
dear God. And half the time it's just something that rolls off the tongue. And then you stop for a minute and you go, I could do with a little divine intervention sometimes,
Yeah, something, right? Heck yeah.
something, or whatever it is, floats your boat. But yeah, it inspires you. It makes you think differently, hopefully for the good.
Right.
Um, I'm not on a pedestal. I don't have a platform that I'm preaching to.
Right.
It's just something that I go down and it comes to my mind and off I go. And hopefully I can relate it to a song that people go, that's cool, you know.
Right.
And what am I asking for? Nothing. I'm just, it's like good at the end of the day, good music, really,
Yeah.
you know.
So one more digression, and then we'll go back to the record.
It's
Sorry.
great.
I
It's
love this
great.
conversation. 1940s horror. What's your
We should
favorite
call this, sorry, we should call this a brutal digression.
film? What's your what's your favorite 40s Universal film? So for me, I'm gonna say like The Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's
Oh
so
my
corny,
God.
it's so amazing, but it's absolutely fantastic.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Now you put me on the spot. Put me on the spot.
Or
Um,
Wolfman.
Wolfman maybe, but I like I like how we have evolved from sort of the 40s, let's say the Wolfman, to the new werewolf with all of the
Yes.
prototechnics, and we
Right.
took it from there, and now with technology we have, wow, Wolfman never looked as good, right?
Right. I think back then he just looked like the bearded man, the wolf faced boy or something you see on the news.
I know, right? And I love, I mean, I'm a huge fan of like the Underworld trilogies because the way they use the technology and it's just I don't know. I just get I could binge all of that kind of stuff
Oh yeah.
easily.
Right.
And of course not to uh well basically just to honor it, but losing Val Kilmer yesterday in his Batman, and how Batman, if you like, has evolved uh
Yes.
i- into this sort of technical, uh how would you see, he's like a big hero, but
Yes.
so God rest Val Kilmer. I think he did an
Yeah.
amazing an amazing job, not to mention his his uh his how he managed the Jim Morrison role was just,
Amazing. I was talking to my wife about that last night. That was
and he
fantastic.
was Jim Morrison. I mean,
Yeah.
he lived, he worked, he ate that role and sang and
Yep.
sang. And it was just, it made me um, look at that movie and see Jim Morrison as a real person. And he
Yes.
really brought that alive. And I'm going, oh my God, you talk about songwriting and you talk about digging deep into lyrics, and here's the visual on the screen, and you could feel those words coming into life and where his head was. And it was, yeah. And again, um, good questions, good stuff, good way to relate to the music and appreciate artistry.
Thank you.
You know,
Let's dig out of the hole and go back to Soulbound for a second. The first track, Suck Me Until I Die, is probably, I'm gonna say, my favorite because it's got that energy, the riff, the whole thing. But what was it like sequencing this? Because that's a whole art that's almost disappeared now, right?
um, also a great question. We started the process pretty similar to Standing on the Edge record, the live record, with Alessandro Del Vecchio, who was my co-writer. He was the in-house guy at Frontiers. Um, we decided right from the get-go that I wanted to involve more of my guitar player, Andrea Cerveso. So Andrea, uh, Alessandro, and myself were very heavily involved with the writing to begin with. And Alexander started sending these really cool riffs in. And as soon as I heard that opening to Till I Die, I went, oh my God, there's something. And I've read comments where people go, don't get that intro at all, man. It's like,
Really? No,
it
I
just,
thought that was
it just,
like
it takes too long, and then the song starts, and I go, why didn't you just get to the song? And I'm going, nah, you just completely missed the boat right here.
That's the one that says, "Hey, come along for the journey, man." That's gotcha.
And that's exactly what it did to me. And I went, there is just something about this that's like, when
Right.
is it going to happen? You know, when I shot the video for Till I Die, I had this I had this whole idea. I was kind of channeling that sort of, I had that sort of outlaw. I was channeling my Motorhead Ace of Spades look,
Yeah.
and I also had this sort of Quentin Tarantino kind of, where is this going to go? Is it a little dark? It's a little shady. Does it actually go anywhere? And that's the void that I wanted to create and just leave it hanging there, running from something. But what is he running from? Will he ever get there? Who knows?
Right.
Um, and that's kind of what I. But when I heard the riff, and I went, "Oh my God, has to be
Right.
uh, this has to be the opening track for me."
Right.
And as we moved through the sequence of writing, it just kind of made sense as I went, and I just started to put the order
Because
together, and it seemed just, yeah, it's just seemed a good balance. I always think of it as a book, a beginning, a middle, and an end,
right.
and that's kind of where I took it.
Because I think you have to keep the push and pull and the sort of tension people moving along, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hate fillers.
Yeah.
I hate the dull moments, and I'm going, oh boy. And I don't think we found any because we initially, or I initially submitted the first portion of the writing, and then we changed gears, and Alessandro leaves the label. Aldo comes in. Aldo said, "Hey, listen to all 11 tracks that you submitted. I have about another five or six because now you have a new guy. He wants about his
Right.
stamp on it." And he goes, "Would you mind taking a listen to these? And maybe we can mix this up a little bit." So I did, and I started to put my stamp on how I would approach those songs and rewrote
How
three or four.
resistant were you at first?
Yeah.
Were you resistant?
And we dumped three or four songs from the first batch and brought in three or four new
Oh,
songs.
okay.
And the balance got better. And it just pulled all of the direction right to where I wanted it, and it was, out of everything comes something positive, and it was great. It was great, and Aldo came in and he goes, "Yeah, I think we have a we have a good flow right now."
Right.
And that's how it came about. I was pretty excited about it as it kept going. Um, I never varied uh, from that opener. I wanted that to be the opener.
Right.
Soulbound came in from two great writers out of Sweden, Teresa Persson and Jan Ackerson. And it's the only one that has that sort of symphonic keyboard sound to it, which I really like. Um, I liked the demo, I liked the music, but I needed to see if it would suit me. So
Right.
I attacked it, and I went, this is the perfect second track. And I don't think it could be anywhere else on the record. I love the title, so I went, you know what?
Right.
It's kind of spells it out for me. This is kind of what the record is about to me. Um, and it was interesting. It was a very fun uh, uh, writing session. This Soulbound record.
Right.
I'm really happy with the artwork. Ties in with it. I have a great artist who worked on the first two records with me, Nello Del Oma, also out of those Italians, man. If it's not the Swedes, it's not the Swedes, it's the Italians. Uh,
Yes.
and I wanted him to sort of run the gamut on this one because the first two records I gave him all of the ideas of, this is kind of what I want, and I said, but I just have this thing.
Right.
This is what I think. What would you come up with? And it was all about the search, the light, the dark. Again, no particular new ground, but I just wanted something a little gothic, that sort of
Right.
thing. And then he came back with that. Color scheme was very similar to the Alive record, so there was a little match up there. And people have actually said they loved the artwork on it. It's like,
Yeah.
if I may look, I mean, look at that
Yep.
thing. Beautiful gate sleeve on this, a
And
gatefold.
vinyl. Yes. Beautiful.
And the
Oh yeah, colored vinyl. That's beautiful.
It's and that's one of the things that Frontiers does an amazing job at. They really the packaging is primo.
All
Yeah.
right, so I'm gonna digress again because you keep bringing up great things. We've got about 8 minutes left. I need a
Oh,
couple of
good.
close. So briefly, you mentioned that the order of those first couple songs is what the record means to you. What is that? What does the record mean to you?
I think it's where I'm at. Where I'm at. I had some questions thrown at me along the way. Is this a sort of a spiritual stance? And maybe some of the lyrics sort of go down that route. Um, I'm always thankful and grateful for every day that I have. I'm older and hopefully a little bit wiser. Um, and I find myself in a good place where I can stand by what it is that I'm writing down, without preaching. I'm not a preacher. That's not the idea. The idea is to tell a story. And I think at my age, I've probably got more than one story to tell.
Right, probably just a
Right,
couple.
right. And so if I can put that into a song, that makes sense to me, um, as you well know, you can listen to a song and many people will have many different interpretations of the same piece of music. So this was my interpretation, and I've already had people go, "Dude, this means like this to me," and I'm
Right,
going, I didn't think of that, but that's awesome because
amazing and connected.
because
Right.
now it connects. Yes, now
Yeah,
it
that's
connects. So I think that's what it means to me. It's who I am right now. Um, I'm in a good place. I'm a very positive thinking person. I'm not there's nothing negative around me. It's like doesn't work for me. Doesn't work for me.
too much of
So
that in the world anyway. So
yeah, so that's really, music's my jam after my family. My family is always numero uno,
absolutely.
and that's what gives me that solid base to work and to be happy with the work. And then the music just my wife always says you're miserable if you're not doing your music.
Right.
So there you have it. I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah. Hey, I took you down all kinds of paths. Sorry, I know it was supposed to be just about Soulbound, but it kind of just meandered. But I think that's where the good conversations are.
Yeah, no, it's there's so much you can say about so many different things. Um, it's where you are knowing who you are and what makes you tick. Um, and I hope what makes me tick is good and comes across like that. Um, and you for listening and the great questions, of course.
Appreciate
You
it.
know,
So, Robin, thank you for your contributions to music. I appreciate you, man.
God
Thanks for
bless you.
taking the journey with me. Be well.
Have a fantastic day.
Hey,
Thanks,
cheers.
Bruce. Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye bye.
Hey everyone, this is Bjorn from Soulwork, and this is Brutally Delicious.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Hey there, heavy metal maniacs and kitchen crusaders. I'm Bruce Moore, the host of the Brutally Delicious Podcast, where we whisk up a blend of metal and food to quench even the most discriminate tastes. Have you ever wondered what your favorite metal musician chows down on before they hit the stage to melt your face off? Well, look no further. Here at the Brutally Delicious Podcast, we have cooking segments so brutal they'll make your oven want to headbang. From beefy, bodacious burgers to spicy, succulent salmon to kickin' caliente cauliflower and more. We mix metal and culinary creations, resulting in a feast for the senses.
But wait, there's more.
Hey, this is Michael Monroe. Brutally delicious. Isn't that beautiful? See you down the road.
Each week, I meet with the mammoths of metal for interviews that are spicier than a Carolina Reaper. Get the latest on their upcoming shows, behind-the-scenes stories, and if we're lucky enough, maybe they'll share a secret family recipe or two with us. You'll also want to check out our weekly album and show reviews. where we dice, slice, and serve up our unique takes on the latest metal releases. So grab your leather apron, crank the volume to 11, and subscribe to the Brutally Delicious podcast on your favorite podcast platform. It's sure to be a hell of a time.
Oh, hey there. It's Tim from Protest the Hero. Now that you've seen my junk, I'm going to show you how to make a pizza. And you're watching Brutally Delicious.
What's up, everybody? Max Cavalera, Soulfly, and you listen to Brutally Delicious podcast. Stay metal, motherfuckers. And from the